What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you on Lucid. I want to give you an overview of what happened today, go over some of the data points and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So Lucid did go down 4.16%. There was a new 52-week all-time low created at $2.85. And despite the downtrend though, you do see a lot of volume. So 52.7 million shares were traded, 40.1 is the average. And this is literally the definition of a death spiral, as I've been saying. And it's very disappointing to have nothing coming out from the company itself. So the last news was January 11th, and that was more so just the Q4 production and delivery numbers. This news on the 12th was more so just Lucid getting tagged. So the last news Lucid actually did put out was on December the 11th, and that was Sherry House leaving. I think it is well past overdue, the fact that Lucid just needs to put out something. Normally, even the crappiest of companies likes to put out fluff. Like, as of right now, I think fluff would be better than nothing. Like, this is absolutely craziness. And a lot of people might see the volume and be like, well, you know what, this is kind of a good thing. If you actually look at this, so based on the intraday as well as this, these are all the transactions that have occurred on the secondary market above $100,000. In comparison to the last several days, very low. So a lot of this volume, despite it being relatively high, is just AI. It's algorithmic trading. And so this is why you're just seeing AI trade in among themselves. That is it. None of that is for the long term. That is just to make a couple bucks from here to there. That's plain as day. That's it. So Lucid, despite early 2021, or I guess tail end of 2021, a lot of institutions loved Lucid. They couldn't get enough of Lucid. Now it seems like Lucid is struggling to get any long investors, especially based on the latest round of 13Fs that have been coming out that I showed you, I think, over the last couple of videos. Like, institutions, it's kind of hit and miss, right? Most of them have been returning and selling out some of their position within Q4. Very few are adding. It doesn't look good. And once again, as I've said in the past, I still do like Lucid. I still own it. And I really like the vehicle itself. Just, I feel like management is making the wrong decisions right now. And they're kind of making a joke of themselves. Even random people that know absolutely nothing about Lucid, I see them on social media saying that Lucid is a joke and that it's just going to continue to trend down. So it's very discouraging constantly to cover Lucid when they're really not doing anything to help themselves. But over and above that, though, there is a lot of fear that's been coming out. So there was a Fed speaker, Waller, this morning, and ultimately they kind of said the writing on the wall that the Feds are not going to be cutting the rates anytime soon. If anything, it'll be near the tail end. I have shown a couple of videos, pretty much analysts saying the exact same thing. So I feel like that's kind of, it's the obvious, but maybe the market did not really understand that, because that is also what prompted a pretty swift sell-off. And aside from that though, just analysts leading up to that Fed speaker just saw the market as overvalued. And keep in mind, like, even though we see the chart, Lucid's chart, as this, which is horrific, most of the stocks are quite the opposite, right? So keep in mind, like, this is the S&P 500. Like, this is actually what a lot of the broader market and indexes are looking like. Everything is high. Whereas if we go back to Lucid for a second, this is Lucid's chart. So it is very unfortunate, the fact that when they're saying the broader market needs to pull back 10 to 15% or whatever else, imagine what that is going to do to Lucid. So that's just very, very discouraging in my opinion. I'm going to play this video near the tail end. It's only a minute and 30 seconds, but I feel like this will put it in perspective on exactly what Lucid does need to do in the short term. But aside from that though, there hasn't been any recent analyst ratings. So right here, I have been monitoring exactly what the forecasts are for upcoming earnings. So there has been no change as far as that goes either. So I'll keep you informed if analysts do anything as far as their estimates, whether it be earnings per share, revenue, or whatever else. Once again, while I am on Interactive Brokers, I do want to show this to you because this is a prediction that I gave last week, and so far it does seem to be holding very true. So this is the Elliott wave technicals. It does have the pivot point being $4.15. So for as long as Lucid is below that's 415. It is estimated to trade anywhere between 255 and 282. So that's kind of coming very, very accurate. So let me know your thoughts. Are you a buyer at 250, or do you think it is going to go down to 2? Like, what's your thoughts on that? And potentially, when are you a buyer, right? Because that's also something that a lot of retail investors have to ask themselves. Are you going to average down? Are you going to buy? And potentially when? This is why at the same time, a lot of institutions are not buying right now, because they forecast maybe 250 or maybe $2. And once it does slip past $2, gets a little bit more of a slippery slope. And over and above all of this, of course, I've been bringing up fears, things that Lucid needs to do. You have shorts. You have shorts just sitting on the sidelines, laughing their asses off. And they are enjoying every moment of this, every moment of Lucid's downfall, because even today they increased 1.93 million shares. And for those of you that have been tuning into my videos daily, you know that they've been increasing almost about 2 million shares every single day for the greater part of this start of the death spiral. So they're enjoying every moment of this. And it's very, very crappy. So utilization is 93.34. Short score is 82.88, and right now 28.59% of the free float is being shorted. Like 29%, that is crazy stuff. 253.1 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 5.19%, and through Interactive Broker, short availability does indicate around 650,000 shares is available to be shorted. So moving on to options, $1.14 million in calls being purchased versus 21 million in puts. Sentiment wise, it was very neutral today, so a lot of people were clearly just taking advantage of premiums, but at the same time, it's not really like clearly people are anticipating for us to trend down, or else a lot of this would be a lot more bullish. So 87% of all the options being done today was neutral. Of the call options that were purchased, there is a consensus for it to be above $3 by the end of, looks like, the next several weeks. And this has dropped significantly. I've pointed this out time and time again. Initially it was 550, 544, or like 454. Like, people just keep lowering their expectations of Lucid like time and time again. It is absolutely crazy. Looking at puts, it is anticipated for it to be sub 250, oddly, by the end of this week. So again, that's something just to kind of keep in mind. Looking right here though, so at some strong support and resistance points, with it at 288, it is currently between this S2 and this S1. So 273 is going to be the next line in the sand, the next strong support, and then vice versa, 294, which once was I guess support, now it turned to resistance. So that's something to once again keep in mind. Lucid oddly did have some hope because I feel like pre-market was looking like it was going to break out. On my other channel, which is Trending Stocks, I did do a pre-market video, and I actually did include Lucid in one of the 3 stocks because it did have abnormal volume and it was holding its gains. You can tell the broader market was just going to crumble pre-market, but Lucid was actually showing some signs of optimism. So I don't know, maybe it did have a small chance this morning, but again, just take note of a lot of the strong support and resistance points going forward. And then looking right here, momentum shows number of retail investors have been getting out. Stochastic is at 4, so that is considered oversold, but there is no defined trend right now. So let me know your thoughts on that. Like I said at the very beginning, I do want to play this quick video that's about a minute and a half, and it'll put it in perspective on exactly what might be coming with the broader market. So just take note of that.
Good to see you, Scott.
Simple question. Is it a simple answer?
I think right now the market is overvalued. I mean, my estimate is about 9–10%. And part of the reason, I think, is the expectations game has turned against the market. I mean, if you remember at the start of last year, when recession was almost guaranteed, rates were going to go up, inflation was out of control. And every strategist that you had essentially said it was going to be a terrible year for stocks. Turned out to be the exact opposite. Everything turned out to work in the opposite direction. My fear is that we've moved too much in the other direction. Now people assume there's no recession. Inflation is under control and everything's going to be okay. So I think this year, good news is going to require a lot more than it did last year. And that, to me, is why I think stocks are in a dangerous place right now.
Well, what if, in fact, inflation is coming down at a pretty good clip? And what if the economy is holding up pretty well? Then that would obviously throw the equation into a different answer.
That's already priced in. And I think that's the problem, is we're pricing in the good stuff. And I think the worry now is there might be surprises. In fact, there will be surprises. You go back to 2008, every single year, we've had some big surprise that nobody saw coming. And I'm sure there will be it's an election year. I can't see this year going by without significant big surprises. So to me, that's the danger you face investing in stocks right now.
What about the
So yeah, there you have it. Ultimately, just a viewpoint on what might be happening with the broader market and potentially why. And keep in mind, like I already showed you, they're talking on this. So the big market, essentially, versus Lucid. So you can only kind of assume what the repercussions would be to Lucid. So do your own due diligence at the end of the day as well. I'm not a financial advisor, so let me know your thoughts on that. Even though Lucid is doing whatever the hell it wants sometimes, up, down, sideways, well, especially as of late, it's been down, but take advantage of this promo. It is free shares. Simply sign up for an account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. So might as well take advantage of that because those 5 free stocks could be valued up to $2,000. So link in the description below and also comments. But with all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.